Morning to all of you. Welcome back to the Namaste Experience on this beautiful Tuesday. As you can see, I'm still here in Portland for one more session. I've got the Christmas tree behind me here. Here it is. It's funny how everything, when I'm looking at Zoom, it's always reversed. And isn't that how it works in spirit as well? It's always reversed. It's not here. I mean, it's here. There it is. Even though from my screen, the outpicturing of what I think I see is the opposite of what it really is. Now, of course, there's a button here somewhere in Zoom. I'm not sure exactly where, but there's a button that I can push that mirrors it in the opposite way. So it is the same as I see it, but otherwise it's the opposite. And isn't that, once again, how it works in the world of perception? Until we hit that button that says true perception, so that we can mirror what is real rather than what is illusion, we're going to see everything as opposite. We'll never know which way is the right way. But the only right way is the way of love, the way of now. So this morning, we're going to be looking at a couple of quotes from someone that I think we all know by now, and that's Nisargadatta Maharaj, one of our favorite Indian teachers. I know it's someone that Jet loves, and many of us love. Jet often sends me little quotes from Nisargadatta because he's so clear. He's so on point. There's no nonsense, no fluff, just the truth. And as I was reading one thing by Nisargadatta yesterday, he said something that was so clear and so poignant that I'll just share it in my own words. He said this, and this is the key, by the way. If you can get this one simple statement, you'll have it all. Here it is. The world you see or perceive is in your mind. It's all in your mind. Now, that may be a big jump for many of us because what we've always been told is that my mind is in the world, not the world is in my mind, which is the truth. Once again, everything is the reverse. Everything is the opposite in perception and what it is in truth. So if you want to know what the truth is, just check in with your perception and say, oh, no, it's the opposite of that. Because the mind that I believe I think with, my intellectual mind, was made to keep me at a distance from that which is never at a distance, to keep me far away from that which is never far away, that which is intimately close, that which is united forever and one with my very being. Once again, the world is in my mind. Everything I think I see out here or perceive to be distant is really intimately linked with my reality here right now. So with that in mind, there is one other little statement from Maharaj or from Nisargadatta that I would like to share because when I saw this quote online, I noticed that someone had commented saying that I could read this for days and never figure it out, never really get intellectually what's being said here. But if I relax into it, and allow it to relax into me, I realize how simple this is. So here's the very simple statement that Nisargadatta said. You are the changeless background against which changes are perceived. That's it. Let's just sit with that for a moment. You are the changeless background against which changes are perceived. I have to admit that I agree with the person online who said I could read this over and over and not get it intellectually. And yet there's something in me that hears this and responds. There's something within me that reads these words and feels the reality behind the words, the changeless background. That's who I am. My personality is a background, not a foreground, a background. The foreground, that which can step forward at any moment, is changeless, is eternal, is right now. This is the now moment that we share. This is where we come and join. Beyond all thoughts of right doing and wrongdoing, there's a field. We know that. That's where we are right now. We come together every morning. We join together here in this Namaste experience in that field that Rumi talked about. The field that is beyond all ideas of right and wrong, where all is well, and all manner of things shall be well. So let me read one other little conversation that I found from Nisargadatta. The question was asked, what experience comes nearest to supreme bliss? Isn't that something we would all like to know? An answer we would all like to hear. What experience comes nearest to supreme bliss? And here's what Nisargadatta said. Immense peace and boundless love only that. Whatever is true, noble, and beautiful in the universe, it all comes from you. It all comes from your mind. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is beautiful, whatever is holy, it comes from you. It's not out here. This is what we've been told. This is what perception seems to reveal. Remember, there's only your mind. Everything you perceive comes from, not here, not this. This is the brain. I'm not talking about the brain. We're talking about the whole mind. This is what whole-mindedness is, as opposed to split-mindedness. The split mind of the ego sees everything as separate, different than. Whereas whole-mindedness is the reality, the experience of now, of everything is whole within me now. So once again, Nisargadatta says, immense peace and boundless love only. Whatever is true, noble, and beautiful in the universe, it all comes from you. You are the essence of it all. And then the question, how does one reach the supreme state? And Nisargadatta says, by renouncing all lesser desires. As long as you are pleased with the lesser, you cannot experience the highest. This is so important. By releasing all lesser desires, which you don't realize in the moment are lesser desires, and this is how you remained fooled. This is how we remain distracted, by thinking that our lesser desires are actually our higher desires, instead of realizing that all the things that I think I want, which are outside me, have really just led me to forget the fact that there is nothing outside me. Or as we said before, that everything is in my mind. The whole universe is in my mind, and I project it outward because there's still that part of me that's afraid to realize how simple this is, how simple reality can be, and transformation, and even enlightenment. Back to the original sentence, the world is in your mind. You've been told that your mind is in the world, but it's the opposite, right? So just do what the opposite is. I actually saw, this is going to be something that's just coming into my mind now. I saw a Seinfeld episode recently. If you've ever watched Seinfeld, you know it's a show about nothing, but it's a very funny show about nothing. And George, who is having all sorts of trouble with women and life, realizes that if he just does the exact opposite of what his instinct is, of what he thinks he should do, the exact opposite, everything will go perfect. And it does. He starts doing everything the exact different that his mind, his ego would tell him to do. And it works. And maybe it's similar for us. If we realize that everything is in the perception, in form, everything is the opposite of what I think, because the world is in my mind, not my mind is in the world. Everything aligns perfectly and naturally. Okay, let me get back to this. Let me go back a little bit. By renouncing lesser desires, this is what Nisargadatta says about how we can reach the supreme state. As long as you are pleased with the lesser, you cannot experience the highest. Whatever pleases you, or that you find yourself attached to, holds you back from the supreme state. Whatever you're attached to, that which you think you want or need, this is what's holding you back, because there's nothing for you to want or to need, because everything you need will come to you instantly, naturally, if you are in that supreme state of bliss. If you realize that the world is in your mind, everything comes to you as if by magic. Okay, so whatever pleases you or that you find yourself attached to holds you back from the supreme state until you realize the unsatisfactoriness of everything. Its transience or transiency and limitation. Then collect your energies into one great longing. This is key. Then you haven't even taken the first step. Until you draw all of those yearnings, all of those longings into one great, whole, eternal longing for only love, only God, only now. Until you've done that, you haven't even taken the first step, because until then, it's all out here. I want this, I want that. It's the smorgasbord reality. I haven't been to a smorgasbord in a long time. I think they may have disappeared in COVID. I know there's one up the road here, not very far, that we used to go to. It's closed now because during COVID, no one wanted to be, go to a restaurant where everyone else is breathing or spreading whatever. But this is the reality that we choose as well. It's a smorgasbord reality. I want this, I want a little bit of that, a lot of that. I love the mashed potatoes. I love that. But this is not how there is no smorgasbord in reality. There's another restaurant that I went to yesterday, which is a little bit closer to the truth. It's called Whole Bowl. My daughter and granddaughter and I love Whole Bowl. You know how many things they have on the menu at Whole Bowl? One. There's only one thing: beans and rice. You have a choice between a big one or a small one. You can put extra sauce or extra avocado, but there's only one thing, and that's the beans and rice, and they are fantastic. I have to go to Whole Bull at least once every time I come to Portland, because you've never had beans and rice quite like this. And I love the fact that they don't have a lot of choices on the menu. I'll go to a restaurant like Cheesecake Factory, and the menu is 25 pages or whatever it is. It takes forever just to decide. I usually just light upon the first thing I see and say, I'll have that. Remember, there is no smorgasbord in reality. There is only now. There is only one choice: beans and rice. And you're going to love it. Okay, a bit more. On the other hand, in the integrity of the desire for the supreme is by itself a call from the extreme. The longing for what he's calling the supreme bliss is actually itself a call from that. It's an echo. It's an echo of the beloved to the beloved, you see. Isn't that beautiful? Nothing, physical or mental, can give you freedom. You are free once you understand that your bondage is of your own making. You've done it to yourself, and that's the only time you can be free. It's like you suddenly wake up and you find yourself wrapped in heavy chains and you can't move, and you're struggling trying to break free from these heavy chains, and you don't realize that your clenched your fist, if you open it, you'll see the key is right there. You've always held the key, but you were so clenched, you were so tight that you weren't able to see or to realize that the answer is so simple. Just open up, open your hand, take the key out, and unlock yourself. What you're getting today is the key. This is the very key that you need to open those chains and to see that love has never left you. You've never been abandoned by God. You may have abandoned yourself, yes, by thinking that your mind is in the world. No, the world is in your mind. And this is all you need to remember. Let me back up a little bit. The integrity of the desire for the supreme is by itself a call from the supreme. Nothing, physical or mental, can give you freedom. You are free once you understand that your bondage is of your own making. You are free only when you realize that your bondage is of your own making. And then you stop forging the chains that bind you. Stop forging the chains that bind you. And what is it? Well, what is that great forge? Your mind, your thoughts, your attachments. Let's go back to one line that I think is the most important here. By renouncing all lesser desires. This is how you reach the supreme state. As long as you are pleased with the lesser, you cannot experience the highest true goal of your whole being. To remember that you are whole, to remember that you are love, and to realize that everything in the world is in your mind, not the other way around. You have the key. Just open up your hand. That's all. So, Vicky, I'll turn it over to you. Good morning.
Good morning, Brother James. Whoa, this is wonderful. This is just right at the heart of where our freedom is. If love or the I am that we are is the background that doesn't change, that's right now, the only thing that does cover it up, just like he says, are the ideas, whether we call them attachments or desires, those ideas, without even labeling them, that do that loop in our mind. Oh, how is my blood pressure? Oh, what's my bank account? Oh, who's coming to see me? All those things. It's an endless list because we happen to be endless ourselves. So we have come up with making endless lists of what isn't. But when we can catch something that seems to catch our attention, and that's that loop, like yesterday about the car, I saw the attachment I had to my son's response, his approval. That was a big attachment. And whether it's gone or not is not of my doing, that I could finally see it and recognize it blown up. That's where my freedom lies, but not in trying to solve it. So the ego, the biggest thing the ego does, the second step, the dance of the ego, is sees some attachment and goes to solve it. Let's fix it. Let me straighten it out. Let me call him and I won't take this car or whatever it might be. That's always the sign right there. That rush to the solution is a sign that we're out of our mind. Literally, we're out of our Christ mind, out of our love mind. The background is being quite silent. The background can't get through. The truth that you said is that God is always calling us. Spirit, always, who we are, love, always it's calling us. That's why if we learn to pay attention to the invisible, and it's a science, I think. Like I'm just trying to learn it now by tuning into the invisible, the angels around me, the spirits in the trees, the spirit of the tree, the life of that love, that I am presence in everything. When we put our attention on the eternal then what isn't eternal will come more quickly into focus because it's dynamically clear that it isn't peaceful. Like what his conditions were, what was it? Peace and boundless love. It isn't peace and boundless love if I'm upset that someone doesn't approve of me. That's a signal right there. Oh, I'm off my rocker. I'm out of that boundless love for sure. How do I get back? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Surrender, Dorothy. That's what I learned. Just there we go. Surrender. So without trying to solve, without trying to feel better, that's really a big one. Just be willing to nothing. When I need do nothing, more and more I see how it is the most important passage in something like the Course in Miracles and in any teaching, because the effort of doing something goes to some intention. It goes to an intention. When spirit directs us, spirit flows and we catch a wave and flow with it. There's no intention past the present moment. I saw that getting the car. I was like, oh no, I'm just following the flow. And it's bringing me to recognize that right here, there's a rightness, a flow of frequency that connects. And probably what I learned is trusting that flow is what trusting love is, trusting the spirit. And no matter how foolish it may look to our material senses, oh, you gave up a plush car to buy a toy, it's like those aren't the ways any longer. That's what judgment has done. Oh, I'll get this because it's better for this, that, and the other thing. Those aren't the ways. It's like the law of all. That's what I've been calling the law of love. The law of all only chooses love now. It recognizes a frequency of love now. And when we only stay in the now and there's no outcome for tomorrow, what will it look like tomorrow? How will it serve my needs? How will it be a good choice? Those are lesser desires. When we just disengage from that and stay present, then we can stay tuned to a frequency, whether it's a frequency we offer each other, that when we sing or speak, we sing of love, we speak of love. It's a frequency of welcoming, of entrainment, but we can't go with it while we're blocking the tune, the sound of it with ideas. So the idea of anything is kind of irrelevant to the present moment. If we can, and I've been playing with this, by playing the whole this year, paying attention to right now in the energy of what is present in an empty room without physical sound, the sense of spirit, the sense of lyrical movement. That's what I tune into. And of course, it's going to bring up exactly the places that I'm not tuned. And those are the most important opportunities to get total freedom. So that's why we welcome everything and do nothing with it, but recognize, oh, this is where I'm not living in peace. I won't do a thing, really like a hot potato, and allow it to pass. Oh,
Amen.
Calico, they take up too much time. Go ahead. Can you talk today? Calico speaking?
Yeah, so I have a quick way I'm going to illustrate this before we bring Calico on to close us up. Hey, Penny, come here a second. So as you know, I'm here with my granddaughter, and I want you to see her. This is something that I bought for her yesterday. So we went and saw Wicked. So you have Elphaba and you have Galinda. Right now, do you remember how we were saying that everything is the exact opposite? The Wicked Witch of the West. If you see Wicked, you realize she's not that wicked. She's actually just a wonderful, insightful, holy person. And yet, compared between, and Galinda, who's totally caught up in her ego and wanting to please everybody, has no real confidence in herself. The good witch is really the not so good, and the wicked witch is really the perfect one. So This is one way of understanding. You said surrender, Dorothy, and it reminded me of this, that it's always the opposite. The good witch is not, I mean, the wicked witch is not that wicked. Your ego is not wicked. It's perfect. You are perfect and whole and complete right now. Thank you, honey. All right, Calico, why don't you come and wrap us up?
It's Tuesday market time.
It's Tuesday market. That's right. Thank you, Chris. All right. Well, if Scott is there, we do have time for a quick song if he wants to take us out with something very wicked. Uh, so Scott, if you're there, come on up. Vicky, any final words while Scott is making his way there?
Hi, everyone. My only final word is when that attachment comes up, just welcome it. Welcome it 100%. Don't move off that spot because when we've moved through it, it dissolves and disappears.
Mhm.
It just falls away.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have all these little catchphrases that we use that remind us like that. Just welcome what is welcoming you. Welcome that which is welcoming you. And you'll realize that everything is perfect. There is no wicked witch, there's no good witch, it's only you. So Scott, take it away.
There is no wicked, there is no good, there is no have to, there is no should, there is no dark, there is no light. All we can say is everything's alright. Everything is perfect and there's nothing that we need to do. Sometimes we forget it, and that is perfect too. There's nothing that we need to do. Hey, hey, it's okay. It's okay for you to be that way. Happy or sad, good, bad, or gay. It's okay for you to feel that way. Hey, hey, it's okay. It's okay for that siren to play. In our hee-hee, there's a siren right now. All we need to do is allow your ego, allow your desires. Welcome everything, no matter the fire. Fire burns things that need to burn. So you and I can now return. We're burning everything that we're here to learn. Time to acknowledge we have returned. We have returned.
Wow, thank you, Scott. Thank you, brother, and thanks to all of you. Wow, this was a good one. So just remember, it's always the opposite of what you think, and it's always so much more simple than you think. Just allow the truth to be true, that you are holy, you're not wicked. There is no wicked witch inside you. She's all good, she's all bright, and it's happening right now. And to that we say, Amen, Amen,
Amen.
Amen, y
Amen. Y
punto.
punto.
Love you all. See you later. Bye-bye.